things a man needs to have before he finds his wife. Number 1, presence. This is good also for women. Women do not find a man who is not attached to the presence of God. Men, you need to be in the presence of God. When God created Adam, He put him in the Garden of Eden. The Hebrew word for Eden means where God dwells. Find a man where he loves the presence and is a man who stays in the presence. Number 2, work. Genesis 2, chapter 15, chapter 2, verses 15 says, God gave work before He gave him a woman or a wife. So men who are lazy, who can't wake up, who doesn't want to work, those are not men who you need to get connected with. Those are not men that you need to consider to be a husband. And men, let me tell you, if you want a wife, first learn to work. Number 3, a man needs to understand how to cultivate. God put Adam in the garden and told him to work and to cultivate. A man who does not consider or wants to grow or consider growth in his skill, growth in his talents, that is not a man to be considered as a husband. Because if he cannot cultivate himself, the gifts that God has put in himself, he will never help you to be cultivated to be the woman of God, the wife, the mother you ought to be. Number 4. Fourth thing is, not only the Lord put him in the garden, told him to work, told him to cultivate, but He told him to protect the garden. Guard. Adam could not do it. Protect it. So protection, a man who can protect what God has given to him, that is a man to be considered as a husband. Number 5, and the last thing that you need in a man is a man who knows the word of God. God actually did not speak to Eve about the tree. God actually spoke to Adam about the tree. But Adam did not teach enough about the tree and the result of not obeying the voice of God. You need to consider a man who knows the word of God. If he does not know the word of God, the word will not come alive in situations that he faces, but the world will. So when it comes to money, when it comes to conflict, when it comes to parenting, when it comes to marriage, he will consider the ways of the world and not the ways of the word. So that is why a man should have these 5 things, and a woman who considers or thinking about finding a husband should consider these 5 traits. Number 1, a man in the presence of God. Number 2, a man who is not lazy but who is working. Number 3, a man who's able to cultivate, who's considering and always working on growth. Number 4, a man who is able to protect, a man who is not a man who does not care about nothing, who wants to protect. When he wants to protect what God has given, he will protect his family, he will protect what God has given. And number 5, a man who knows the word of God. So this is a challenge to all men and women. Men, you know what you got to do, and women, do not consider, if these 5 things are there, do not consider them to be your husband, because or else you will be in great trouble.